morning. We're just heading down to Hanover. There's a mill there that grinds up grain for flour, and that's where I like to go to get my flour for making, well, everything that I bake, but especially bread if I bake bread. I've been asked to bake bread on a video to show how I do it. That's not that difficult, but it is. So yeah, so it's about 40-minute drive for us to go down to get flour, and we usually ask all our family and friends around us if they need flour. So if we're going down, we'll pick up a few extra bags for them too. And when we get to the shop, we'll give you a tour of the shop. So we're here at the outlet store for the Hanover mill. I'm going to go in and get some flour. It's called North Side Pantry, sorry. Yeah, all kinds of stuff in here. So here's Georgian Bay honey. A good friend of mine owns Georgian Bay honey. We buy all our honey from her, and I use it when I'm making my bread. Pails work good for putting milk in from the barn too. Lots of bulk stuff. Nice meat pies. That would be nice to have as a meat pie. Oh, they're so cute.
Nope, just that one. Casablanca is in Morocco. We spent 2
Apple
weeks
cider.
in Morocco. Yeah.
Non-alcoholic.
It's a
Sparkling
beautiful
drinks.
country. It's like going back into the Bible. It's like when you get back into the
flour that I get.
The markets, it's like nothing's changed.
I used to get the great big bag, but it's just too big.
Yeah.
I might actually get some of these tarts too.
Yeah.
Okay. In there. There you go. We got all our flour, 20 kilogram bags, one of whole wheat and one of all-purpose. I got some chia seeds, and Samantha got a few goodies too. So ready to go home. So we're back from getting the flour, and we found a day where we could make some bread. So I'm going to show you how I make bread, and hopefully it turns out. So here's my ingredients. Extra virgin olive oil, traditional active dry yeast. I made sure it wasn't out of date. Honey from what's it called again? Georgian Bay honey. Doesn't say it on here. This is a wedding gift. Measuring cup, milk from the farm, and a couple of pans. And then I've got white flour and whole wheat flour. And I store them in ice cream containers that we buy ice cream in bulk. Okay, so I'm going to start off by turning the oven light on in my oven. And that's about all I need for getting the dough to rise. So I'm just going to take this tray out. I don't need it. I'm going to turn, where's the oven light? There it is. The oven light on. So that will warm up the oven enough to rise the dough. Okay. And then another thing that I always do is warm up my bowl. I don't want to have a cold bowl to work with. Make it nice and warm so you can feel it warm on the outside. This one, I used to use a glass bowl and it would take quite a bit to warm up. This one's warming up quite quickly. And I'm going to use warm water, just warm to the touch, not hot. Warm up this too, I guess. So. I just need half a cup of warm water. And then I'm going to put that in here. And then I'm going to use, I've forgotten tablespoons. Well, I don't usually measure it that exact. You don't need as much honey to make up for the same amount of sugar. And I used to use 2 tablespoons of white sugar, but now I just use a bit less than that in honey. I mix that in. Then I need 1.5 cups of warm milk. So I'm going to put it in the microwave just to warm it up. Doesn't have to be hot. So I'm going to put the warm milk in. Heat it about for 50 seconds in the microwave. And then 2 tablespoons sprinkled over the top. And then I'm going to put it on my KitchenAid. Dough hook on, and I'm going to add some of the flour. I'll do about 2 cups of whole wheat and a cup of white. And then we'll mix that in. Tablespoons of olive oil. Maybe a little more. I'm not an exact measurement. flour's cleaned off the sides. That's a good sign that it threw enough flour in there already. I usually add flour until I think it's the right consistency, so there's not an exact measurement. So I'm just gonna turn it off and check it now, see how sticky it is. It's still pretty sticky. So I'm just gonna add a half a cup of white and a half a cup of whole wheat until it's the way I want it. A little bit at a time. Looks like it's close enough. Okay, now I'm going to put the whole wheat in. It is sticking on the bottom there, so. Pretty good. So I'm going to take my extra white flour and I'm going to bring it over to my counter. Some honey. And I'm going to make a floured board to work on. And take my KitchenAid apart. Just take get some flour on my hands so they don't stick. So that came off pretty clean. Let's see how clean it is on the inside. So, sticking a bit on the bottom, but I'm gonna just work the rest of the flour in by kneading it. You just roll the dough towards you and push it down with the heel of your hands. Get a workout. If you're mad at somebody, this is a good way to work it off. Every time it gets a little bit sticky, just add a little more flour. You don't want to make it too dry either. So once it seems pretty satiny smooth, then it's time to let it rise. Okay, so there it looks like that. And I'm going to now put some olive oil in my bread bowl. I don't like wasting dishes, so since it's fairly clean and it just has the bread dough in it, I'm going to use it for rising my dough. Just set it in with the uneven side down. And you take a clean dish towel and cover it and put it to bed in the oven. And I'm going to set the timer for an hour. Okay, I'm going to check the dough and see how much it's risen. It's been a little more than an hour. And there, it's risen that much. So I'm going to, it's almost, I think it's about double. It's supposed to be double in size, so. All right. So I'm going to
punch it down. Get the air out of it. Put it out there. And then I still need to grease my bread pans, so I use butter paper, keep them in the fridge. I'm gonna use them for greasing those pans. Here, all greased up. All right, so I'm gonna divide this into half. On the side, and I'm going to knead it for a bit and make it into a nice sized loaf. There. There we go. Now I'm just gonna stick it back in the oven for another hour. Turn the timer off. It's beeping at me. There you go, to bed again. Oh, it looks like it's done. Look at that, it's beautiful. All right, Samantha, you want to take it out? On the cutting board there. Rose beautiful. We're gonna enjoy that tonight. All right, thanks for watching. Oh, forgot to show them the recipe. Still see the shadow. I can always take this out. Perfect bread.